ว่าแนวคิดของผู้นำญี่ปุ่นในการสร้างประชาคมเอเชียตะวันออกและก็การพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจในภูมิภาคนั้นควรจะเป็นไปในทิศทางใดครับในช่วงการประชุมสุดยอดเอเชียตะวันออกต่อเนื่องมาจากการประชุมสุดยอดอาเซียนที่ชะอำหัวหินเป็นครั้งแรกนะครับที่ได้มีการเชิญผู้แทนจากสหประชาชาตินั่นก็คือดร.โนลีน เฮสเซอร์รองเลขาธิการสหประชาชาติแล้วก็ดำรงตำแหน่งเลขาธิการบริหารคณะกรรมการพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจสังคมในภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกหรือที่รู้จักกันในชื่อว่า UNSCAP ไปแสดงวิสัยทัศน์ในการที่จะพัฒนาในภูมิภาคซึ่งดร.โนลีนก็ได้ย้ำถึงการสร้างความเชื่อมโยงให้เกิดขึ้นในภูมิภาคนะครับผมได้มีโอกาสสัมภาษณ์พิเศษดร.โนลีนถึงอุปสรรคในการพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจในอาเซียนซึ่งดร.โนลีนมองว่ายังมีช่องว่างระหว่างเศรษฐกิจอยู่มากแล้วก็ในปีนี้ที่สหประชาชาติมาจัดตั้งสำนักงานภาคพื้นเอเชียแปซิฟิกที่ประเทศไทยครบ60 ปีจากการประชุมสุดยอดเอเชียที่ผ่านมามีการระบุชัดเจนนะครับว่าสหประชาชาติจะเข้ามาเป็นหุ้นส่วนสำคัญในการพัฒนาในภูมิภาคนี้ร่วมกับอาเซียนแล้วก็ประเทศคู่เจรจาอื่นๆครับ
That we have to look at intra-regional cooperation, and this is something that we have not done very well, unfortunately. And we need to look at new drivers of growth in two ways. One is to develop larger markets in the Asian region, because we have huge populations, but unfortunately the disparities that we have meant that many of our people cannot really participate in the market economy, and therefore it is important to I say to strengthen the social protection, to provide decent jobs as well as income security for our people, so that the middle class and the working poor and the poor will be able to participate and really strengthen in their consumer power. So that will provide a much larger market for the Asia Pacific region. But the other one is what I called a unified market. A unified market really strengthening intra-regional trade and intra-regional connectivity.
During the ASEAN Summit meeting, they emphasize on the connectivity in the region. It's come up like a keyword, and I think that UNSCAP going to be the partner to develop in that idea. But how UN going to get involved in this idea?
But we need to convert our transport routes into economic corridors. We have the north-south corridors, the east-west corridors, and these are economic corridors. We talked about the Asian Highway and the Trans-Asian the railways, but the idea is to have what I call an intermodal transport system that will also be sustainable because it will reduce less emissions in terms of the greenhouse gases. But equally important is the development of dry ports, a network of dry ports along this intermodal transport system that actually will link the remote areas and the least developed countries of our region to the more prosperous coastal areas. But so far the coastal areas have been like the magnet of growth. But the least developed countries and the landlocked countries have not participated in what I call the web of prosperity, or in the shared forms of wealth that can be generated. So this would be a fantastic way of both driving growth, but at the same time closing the social disparities and economic disparities, and creating larger markets that are also sustainable for the people. And it's localized, it has deep roots, and so it will also deal with some of the issues of international migration, trafficking, and people smuggling. So hopefully that's one area. But Asia Pacific, besides having knowledge, also has the money. I mean, we are the only region that has, in today's world, $4 trillion in reserve. And we need to use this reserve in such a way that it can invest in ourselves. We're not very good. Asia has not been very good in investing in itself. We've gone country by country, but never as region. And I would stress that one of the main problems is because we do not have what I call a financial architecture, a regional architecture that allows us to look at cooperation and the financial level, at the investment level, that links together both the investment in public goods together with the rising foreign reserves. So
and how about the political stability or insurgency in the region? It's going to be the obstacle for the development in this region, because we still have some countries in the region that still have that problem.
Yeah. Kun Charat, you put your finger right in the nerve. I think one thing is to have all these systems of connectivity, but unless we have peace and security, and unless we have communities of peace, no trucks or people can travel without threats. And therefore, you really using development to mediate some of the disparities and the social grievances. I think we need to look at the grievances that have emerged in our region and try to address that. That's why I often say that we need to build the inclusive and sustainable development agenda on the foundation of justice and rights.
In this ASEAN summit meeting and also the East Asia summit meeting, Prime Minister Yukio Hatoyama from Japan, he talked about his vision to form the East Asia community in the future, and also Prime Minister Kevin Rudd also that we should not just like East Asia, we should expand into the Asia Pacific community. Do you think it's possible?
Well, I think everything is possible if you work at it, but you have sometimes to start with the small steps and little pushes, and then slowly link various things up. I think that what has happened, the fact that we have ASEAN and we have ASEAN plus the dialogue partners, is a very good way of moving forward. And obviously you have also ASCAP, where 62 countries are really talking on the UN platform. And therefore, at the end of the day, what is the meaning of a community? A community means common unity. And common unity for what? Based on what? It has to be shared values, it has to be shared vision, it has to be based on deep respect, and also to be able to have a common vision of shared progress.
But before going to the East Asia community, we have ASEAN community to form within 6 years from now. But from this meeting, many of them like noticed about the trade within ASEAN settlement that cannot settle down in this meeting, and began to worry about the future to integrating as an ASEAN community, because trade is like kind of the first step to become the community like EU. They start with the trade and then go to the politics. Are you worried about that when you see that the trend coming?
No, well, the thing is that if you have a region that has never really invested in itself for a very long time, then you have to begin to start looking at what is it we have in common, and not be afraid of the problems. There will always be problems in any relationship, and therefore the most important thing is to look at what are the actual problems, what can be resolved very quickly, what I call the low-lying or hanging fruits that could be addressed very quickly, and then to move on. And what is good is that once you have success becomes a force and creates other successes. So I would say the fact that leaders are coming regularly to talk, to share ideas, to sort out differences, is itself a very, very, very good sign. And I am not pessimistic at all in terms of existing problems, because I honestly believe that if you have the goodwill, and if you know that you have a common direction and you have a common purpose, you'll find the common solutions.
But don't you think that 6 years is too short to form the ASEAN community? We need more time to that?
Let's see what we can achieve in 6 years. I think sometimes it's good to put a sense of urgency, and also because we need to be able to increase this trade very quickly, and therefore to put a timeline or a time frame is not a bad idea because it gives people a sense of urgency, and if you are serious, you'll be kind of monitoring that, and if you have basically landmarks or markers to track your progress, it will help people a lot. So let's see, and I hope that we'll be able to push each other along.
This meeting is the first time that UN was invited to address to the ASEAN leaders and the ASEAN partner leader. Why now? Because of UN, the UNESCAP presented in regional for 60 years, but why now?
Well, you know, we used to have the ASEAN UN Summit.